Welcome back, everybody. Every one of us has dreams. A lot of us talk about our dreams, but very few of us actually do something about them. And I'm really excited because I get a chance to speak to Rico Torres, who actually is doing something about his dream. Welcome to the program, Rico.
Thank you so much for having me, Alan. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. When I had a chance to kind of dive into your background, what was dear and near to my heart is the fact that you are actually pursuing your dream, and you had other options. You graduated from Columbia pre-med, and you decided to kind of put that aside and go and pursue your dream. What makes you do that? Because not a lot of people would.
Um, Honestly, man, it was kind of like a calling, you know? You just kind of, you have to feel it, and then you have to act on it. So, I mean, I was going through the whole pre-med process all my life, right? I was doing the whole, volunteering, the direct patient care hours, shadowing doctors left to right, going on medical mission trips, this and that. I was so set, I was literally nothing else mattered. I knew nothing else that didn't have to do with like medicine or healthcare or anything like that. And kind of I felt like I was pressured because my family kept telling, I have a big family, in South America.
Yeah.
And so they all kept saying, we're gonna have the first family doctor, we're gonna have the first doctor in the family, this and that. And I'm just like, so much pressure. But yeah, so over time I kind of realized, I'm like, man, I don't feel like this is, I have to be a doctor or die. You know what I mean? So towards senior year of my college, I got into modeling because, for years people kept telling me, hey man, you can make money like off of your looks, like just model. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I need money for medical school, right? So I'm like, initially that was it. I was raising money for, because that thing was gonna be like half, like $500,000 in debt. Oh man. So I was raising money. So, I got a couple gigs, JC Penney for 1,200, Target for 1,500. I did Forever 21, Adidas. I mean, I did a lot of campaigns. And so that was bringing in some money. I was like, whoa, okay. So it was pretty cool. And then my modeling agent, I guess, got me an audition. Long story short, it was like I had no idea what an audition was. I got a call back. It was crazy. It was a lead for this feature film. My agent was like, take this serious. It's $900 a day for 15 days. I made the math. It's 15K for 2 weeks. I'm like, whoa. Long story short, like I kind of just, I didn't get it, but the producers told me like they love my style. And like when I went in and actually performed, because I practiced so much for that, and then brought me back to like Shakespeare days, like when we played Romeo and Juliet in like middle school. And I was Romeo. And so I was like, yo, I love this. Like, I was like, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I have the personality for it. So, I mean, long story short, a couple months after that, probably like 2 months after that, I graduated. And then the next month or so, I just dipped. I packed up all my things, and I took a trip from Florida to LA, which is 36, 37 hours. And the rest is history, man. It's just like you said, it's all about taking that first step, and then you just keep at it. And when I went to LA, I came to LA with only $500 in my pocket. I didn't
Yeah.
figure out like, yo, like, cause rent is expensive here. So I didn't figure out, I didn't want to figure out. I'm like, yo, I'll get to it. I'm chasing my dreams. So
And I mean, I commend you for doing that because it's a really cool thing to do. How did you talk your whole family, your mom? I know your mom is working a lot of jobs kind of to support the dream of medical profession. How did you talk your family into saying, guys, yeah, I'm going to LA?
that is so, there's so much depth to that.
Yeah.
So my mom was working multiple jobs, but that wasn't to support well, it was, but primarily because she was a single mother. So she was just trying to put food on her table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So both of my brothers, I have two brothers and they're older than me. And I mean, they were just, they're just working, but they don't really have a set career or goal in life. So I was pretty much like, oh, the only hope of the family. So honestly, because I was the only one who was like getting an education, this and that. So honestly, they listened to me, right? So it's not like, oh, guys, I'm not gonna be a doctor anymore. No, my mom. I mean, I hear my mom. My brothers, they didn't care. They're like, you're gonna be great at whatever it is you're gonna do. But my mom was like, oh, what do I tell, my grandma? What do I tell my aunt, my uncle? Oh my God, no, like everybody asks for you. You know how it is, parents, in that generation, they're like, oh, they feel like they're entitled, or they like to, say that their sons or daughters are like prestigious, they're in this field and that field and this and that.
Yeah.
Hit my mom for a while because she was crying. She's like, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna pay for everything? You're throwing away your degree, this and that.
Yep.
And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. This is my dream, and either you're with me or you're not. I love you, but you just gotta accept it, man. This is just I listen to God and only God. So
And has she come around? Is she in your corner?
yeah. I mean, now, yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, after a couple of months, she settled, and then, I try to lead by example. So she started seeing, commercial here, television show here, this modeling campaign, that. She started seeing it. She's like, oh, okay, he knows what he's doing. He looks happy. He seems happy, and every time I talk to her on the phone every day, I'm happy. So.
Well, Mom, if you're viewing this, thank you very much. My nephew is a chef, and he came from another country, and he wanted to be a chef. And everybody in the family was saying, "Forget it, chefs don't make any money. It's ridiculous hours. You shouldn't be doing it. You should go because a lot of us are in IT. You can make good money. You can have a normal life. Stop it." I was the only one who stood up and said, "No, he's a chef. He needs to do what he's doing." And we got him a job in a restaurant in Chicagoland area as a sous chef. He did a great job there. He got another one. He's a chef. That's his dream. That's his life. He's making a living at it. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So thanks.
Beautiful. Imagine
Thanks
if
for
he
letting
listened to everybody but you. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be a chef.
Because it's me also, right? I don't want to be a chef, but I wanted to act. And when I told my parents, who are also from another country, I came here as a kid at 14. I told them I wanted to act. They said no, because they came here with $500 in their pockets when they were 52 years old from the former Soviet Union. So they didn't want me to struggle. They kind of left their life in order for me to make it. So I didn't have a lot of a choice. It was like, yeah, you pick a career, that's what you're going to be doing. And to this day, I played a doctor in a film. And to this day, when they look at me, they're like, "Oh God, you would have been such a great doctor."
I I want to do that. I want to have something like Grey's Anatomy, just so I can
Yeah.
show my mom. See, I was a doctor.
Yep.
uh,
We did get to play a doctor on TV anyway. So yeah.
yeah.
Very good. Good for you. Um, so I look at your IG posts, and it's a lot of your abs and a lot of you're running around doing stuff. But what struck me was the depth, and what struck me, you're reading Eckhart Tolle, and you're reading Stephen Covey, and you're reading all of these things and talking about solitude and talking about balance. That is what made me want to interview you, although your abs made me want to work out, and I started doing that. So thanks. What kind of got you into the spirituality and the balance side of things? You're a young man. I'm trying to figure out if I was doing similar things at your age, and I don't remember. What got you started there?
Yeah. So yeah, not many my age kind of get into this topic.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other books that I've read. Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. I also read like business books too. So Robert Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, Guide to Investing, all that. But no, so I mean it's like everything is an entire depth. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it all began from I've had anorexia, asthma. I was bullied. I mean, like 4 years ago, I had a jet ski accident. I almost died. I had to have facial reconstruction surgery. Yeah, I had to have jaw surgery because I hit an entire jet ski face front, and so my entire jaw shifted. And so they had to open up my face and fix my jaw. And I was a victim of medical malpractice. I didn't find out till years and like after, most recently. You know what I mean? Like all these things have happened in my life, and you know, you kind of have to find a balance. You kind of have to find, ways to be grateful, ways to meditate, ways to find be the most truest expression of yourself. You know what I mean? So like crying about all these things that have happened to me is not going to do me any good. You know what I mean? I could either, you know, be a victim or just continue on. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
either accept things, you change things, or you let things go. And so, I mean, that was out of my control. I mean, the whole jet ski thing and the
Yeah.
whole jaw surgery and the whole medical malpractice and all that is out of my control. What's in my control is how I move forward and, you know, be grateful and keep pursuing greatness and this and that. So, I mean, yeah. So thank you so much for, you know, for mentioning that about my Instagram and how, you know, at my age, I'm reading all this stuff and becoming very spiritual. I actually, there's not many posts on there. I used to have like 100 more, or maybe more, like 150 more, like 200, a lot more. I deleted and reactivated and deleted, and I was there was this mental health issue that I was going um, through, and
Mhm.
so I mean, because you know, this day and age, the whole Instagram, the whole you know, likes and comments and just that thing is that's crazy. So at that point, you know, when I was starting to get, you know, more followers, more likes, more this, more haters, and more, I was battling that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get back on it now because I don't care. You know what I mean? So because like it helps people. I mean, look, it attracted you, right?
Yeah.
You saw that, and you
Absolutely.
yeah. So like, dang, you know what I mean? So I mean, I have the wisdom of like a 40 or 50-year-old. So like, why not share it and hopefully, you know, influence, you know, people of my age or maybe even younger.
Yeah, you should. And good for you for doing it. And unfortunately, with the way that our world is, you're going to get all sorts of things. You're going to get the loves and you're going to get the hates. But you know, try to be there for others. I had you know, wonderful actress Amberly Gonzalez on, and she goes out of her way to spend a lot of time with her fans, supporting them, advising them, being there for them, and that means a lot. It means a lot to a lot of people. So continue doing it as much as you can.
For sure, man. For sure.
I have some recommendations for you. I don't know if you read any of these books, but how about this one? Have you read The Four Agreements?
Yes, yes. No, somebody referred that to me.
Yeah.
Um, what's his name? Uh,
Uh,
somebody Ruiz,
Miguel.
right? Somebody
Yeah.
Ruiz.
So it's, yeah.
Don.
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Oh, I am so gonna read that. Can you tell me about it?
It's essentially, so the four agreements. It's basically the four agreements that we make with ourselves, and it's a spiritual principles of the four things that are important. And it's a very simple, very easy read. It's not a long book. You know, it's pretty, you know, pretty small, as you can see. I'm just holding it like this, and it's only 100, 160 pages. Actually, even less, 140 pages. So it's a quick read and it just gets here. It's very practical. It's something that you can start applying right away. And again, I'll give the first, the first agreement, so you and everybody watching, you can see it. So the first agreement, page 25. By the way, I've met the Ruizes. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Um, the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. So it's simple things, and that's my dog. If everybody can hear it, he sees somebody outside. Being impeccable with your word. We hear it. It's not something that we've never heard before, but how much are we actually applying it, and what deep effect does it have, not only to those around us, but also to what's within us, and how it has an ability to really change our life. So being impeccable with your word is the first agreement, and then he talks about it. It's very, very good book. And then I don't know if you know, because this is older stuff, but Richard Bach, Illusions, or any of Richard Bach's books, take a look. I think it's up your alley. So
Does that have to do with metaphysics?
yeah, it's kind of it's not yes, it's metaphysics, but it's written more as a kind of a novel. It's somewhat a biographical, you know, time. It's an adventure thing. You never quite figure out whether it's reality or it's not, but it's an amazing book.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Illusions, The Adventures of Reluctant Messiah, and he wrote other books. I think his book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is a tiny book, it's the first spiritual book that I read, and that kind of started my whole spiritual journey around. Actually, now I do remember how old I was because I was playing tennis. It was with a friend of mine named Alex, and he gave me that book. So I must have been somewhere 16, 17, somewhere in there. And
Oh
that's
wow,
the first
you
one.
started
Yeah.
early.
Yeah,
Dang.
so that's the first book I read. So take a look.
That's
We're going to link all these books below, guys, so you can check it out. I highly recommend them, regardless of whether you're an actor or any other profession. You'll find them interesting. Um, and yeah, it's good for you. Continue doing it, especially being an actor and living in a crazy environment. Being a model, being an actor, you're gonna be bombarded with all sorts of energy and all sorts of people, and finding your balance and being able to keep it is going to become even more paramount as you continue climbing through your progression.
no, it has been no, and like in the beginning, oh,
Yeah.
it affected me. It
Yeah.
did, and I can see why it affects a lot of people, and why people quit, and why people like hate themselves and are depressed and this and that. I became aware of that situation though, just like how you said in 16, 17, you first started learning about spirituality, and
Mm,
that's what it's about, becoming aware of your surroundings, becoming aware of what's going on, So yeah, no, I mean, moving forward, oh, it's cake. I already know what to expect.
good, very good. Now, to take things from metaphysical to just silly, but I know somebody in my audience heard you talk about facial reconstruction. They have this question, so I have to ask it, even though I think it's a silly question. So you're a very good-looking, man. Did the facial reconstruction help you become better looking, or did it
No,
make
no,
it?
no,
What was
no.
it?
No, I look exactly the same. You could look at pictures. I
Hmm.
mean, this surgery was like 4 years ago. You could look at pictures when I was like in my teens, high school, like before. No, the only thing that changed was because if you see like before, and I don't know if I've ever posted that or anything like that, but because that's ill. No, but like my whole jaw was shifted. So I mean, to get to the jaw to reposition it, they had to open up my face. I didn't get anything aesthetically done. No, no, no.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad that they were able to put everything back together. Um, and then you brought up being anorexic. You brought up being bullied, which shaped who you are and your ability to look at the world and kind of let things brush off. Probably had something to do with that. But you're going from being anorexic to now being kind of the heartthrob. What does it feel now to be called a heartthrob, where just a recent time or a short time ago you were bullied for being anorexic?
I mean, it's cool. No, I mean it's inspiring, and like I don't care personally. Like for me, it doesn't make me feel any better because I don't have an ego, but I like the inspiring aspect of it. Like to demonstrate to others, like look, like I went through this, so can you. I
Mhm.
was skinny and I completely transformed. So can you. I was bullied and now nobody's gonna bully me. No, I'm kidding. The bullying will always happen, but I've reduced it. I've learned how to protect myself. I've learned how to become aware. I've learned how to not let negative comments get to me. I've learned, I mean, I worked out, so like I know how to defend myself, stuff like
Mhm.
that. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I really just want to just inspire others. Like hey, if you're going through stuff, become aware of it. Tell
Mhm.
yourself, like, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're skinny. Look at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself I'm anorexic. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what I mean? Like I'm ugly, I'm dumb. Tell yourself that. I tell people to tell yourself that. America, people like to sugarcoat things, right? Like, oh no, you're not fat, you're big boned. No, 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 no. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're fat. That's the first step in changing anything in your life. To actually like acknowledge the fact that you have a problem that you need to solve.
Mhm. And is that what you did with anorexia? That's how you overcame it?
100%, 100%. I was this happened for years, right? And I was kind of like a video game nerd, in middle school.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was playing on the Xbox. And so all I had was like one McChicken or two McChickens a day, and I was good. I'm good. I would wake up depressed. I would wake up scared to go to school, because of what other people might do, or like just I was so shy. So like, oh, I didn't want to speak to anybody or anything like that. So for years, I was going through that until I don't know, sometime in high school where I was just fed up. I was just tired of it. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, something has to change. Look at how skinny you're. So skinny. You know what I mean? Like you're so skinny. Change. Just go work out. Like I had a big brother who worked out, who started working out for years, and I couldn't, make the step in asking him, like, hey man, teach me how you do this stuff. Like, no, like I just told myself, no, do it. And then like I taught myself like a 3-second rule to where like, all right, you know what? Screw it. This is how you're gonna solve, your shyness problem. You're gonna go to school and then you're gonna see a cute girl that you've been eyeing for a while, and you're literally just gonna go introduce yourself and talk about science, right? And I did that, and that's how I overcame my shyness, man. It's crazy.
Good for you. That's the important part to note, that it takes you, and not just you personally, but it takes the person realizing that they want to change, that they want to do something about it before they do actually anything about it. Having somebody tell them, whether it's a loved one or anybody else, doesn't
Mhm.
work. Until you yourself decide to make a change, nothing will happen. So go for it. Good for you. And then, as you started working out, as you overcame your shyness, you started getting the modeling gigs that we were talking about. So modeling came first before the acting, and it opened some doors. Um, the interesting thing to me is you're still doing modeling, from what I understand, correct?
Oh yeah.
So and this is, we always have a reality kind of reality check in our interviews to show our audience what the reality is like for the actors and the people in the entertainment industry. So the last 3-4 months you weren't able to do much. How is it going for you?
Here's the thing.
Mhm.
People, talk about, oh, I want to be an actor, or you should be an actor, or maybe, I can be an actor. And they don't think about it. There's so much more to life. There's so many more things that you can do to
Mhm.
actually enhance your opportunity to actually become an actor. So I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not just an actor and a model. I'm a businessman. I'm a real estate investor. I do a variety of things. So I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about, oh my God, my agent is not getting me a job for modeling, or, an acting gig, or, I'm not getting that many auditions. I don't care, because, I have a couple of rental properties in Florida that's bringing me income. You know what I mean? Like I have a business, like I do affiliate marketing, like there's just so many other, revenue streams that I'm getting. So like, I'm not worried, and it all ties into that. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't have these rental properties, or, all these other sources of income, how the heck am I gonna, better my chances in becoming an actor? You know what I mean? With like marketing and advertising and getting actually in front of the people who matter, who make that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people don't quite understand that part. A lot of people fail because it's financially very unstable. To be an actor is to be in rejection mode most of the time. And when you book something, it doesn't mean that you're going to make enough money to pay the rent. It just it's a long journey that may or may not work out. So I chose to kind of take the finances out of it. And I have an IT consulting business and an HR consulting business that pays the bills, and then I do acting and I don't worry about it. So I'm glad you're doing the same thing. In my opinion, it's the right way to go.
Exactly. Because then you're constantly worried about, how am I going to pay the bills? Or then you have to like, get a job that you're working Monday through Friday
Mhm.
just to pay the bills. And like, all right, what about your acting? Like you
Yeah,
said, create a business to where you can kind of work around whatever schedule it is that you need to work around to
yeah.
make it happen.
And it's, again, I'm older, so I also have a family and I have kids and I have other things that I have to account for. So it just becomes harder. And I'm glad you're doing this when you're younger. I'm glad you're setting things up properly so you don't have these issues later on. It's good to hear.
For sure.
Let's get to your acting. I find that ironic that you're into football, soccer, and the first kind of big gig that you got on HBO is Ballers, which I love, and I've watched all 5 seasons. I'm so sad that it's done, but you got to be on Ballers, and that deals with a completely different kind of a football. Did you find
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So I mean, it was an episode, but I mean, it's a start, right? Like I've only been at this, what, like a year and a half. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So people say like, oh, you're an extra. Oh, you just got a small little featured role. On, okay, but that's on a huge project on HBO. You need to understand that in the beginning, you take what you can get, right? And that's gonna lead to more things. Now I got more eyes on me, right? And then yeah, you're right. You know, like I'm a soccer player, right?
Yep.
And then I got a football role. So like I was like, this is cool. I mean, I'm an overall athlete, so like bring me on whatever role, I'm there for it. You know, I didn't meet The Rock, but I mean, it's cool.
So how was that experience in terms of being on that type of a set with, that type of actors you know, in certain points in their career? How was that for you?
I mean, it's cool because you know there's a lot of people and a lot of people, well-known people, and you know a lot of people working behind the scenes and all that. But like, if I mean, because I'm not the main guy, right? You got to work towards that. You know what I mean? So like, it's cool, but it's like, all right, I want more. I want that role. You know, I want the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it was a good stepping stone.
Good. So, and that's the great takeaway, right? You get to a point and you're saying, no, I want to go much farther than that. I see what I'm setting my sights to. So it's great. It's another motivation factor for you. What
Oh,
is your
add real
approach?
quick, I'm sorry. I love the behind the scenes. I love how they produce this stuff,
Mhm.
and the director, and being on that actually has been motivating me to become a director. You know,
Yeah.
because like I see certain things on how they try to direct, and I'm like, no, wait. I can't say nothing because I don't
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
authority. But I'm like, no, I would so say the opposite. I would so do this. I would so have him do that. So I mean, my future, I don't know. I mean, I can afford like in the future to be a producer and a director. So we'll see where that's gonna lead to.
Yeah, listen, in our profession, there is no one track anymore. Everybody is doing many things. One of my favorite folks that have come onto the show, Sujith Verghese, who's a wonderful actor and director and writer. In Canada, he says I'm a storyteller, and I can tell a story in front of the camera and behind the camera. I can write that story. That's my job. Yeah, everything else is just a different medium. So yeah, definitely do it, pursue it, try it. You don't know what doors is going to open for you. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
um, my I kind of I wanted to see how big time commercials were made. So the only extra gig that I ever did was I was a extra on a ComEd commercial in Chicago. And I just wanted to see how things work. And being there on that set, realizing how many takes the actors have to go through for that tiny little spot, and how many hours it takes to film. And I was in the front row, kind of in the background. I was in the front row, and I was acting with every take. So it doesn't matter whether I was going to be seen or not, and I was seen for like half a millisecond, but I was acting. Every take I was on, I was doing my thing. Then you realize, and what made me realize is that okay, doing commercials is going to take a really long time. There are going to be many different takes. The directors are going to ask you to do things in so many different ways. Play it like this, play it like this, play it like that, and you have to adapt and you have to go through these hours of takes. So it was a lot of learning experiences for me, and I really enjoyed it. But you getting to be on Ballers, you getting to be on a Showtime set as well. All of these things are only going to help your career.
Absolutely. And I was also, I don't know if you saw, I was also in a Super Bowl commercial.
I did. I actually really liked that commercial because it felt like you were talking to your brother.
Yeah, it was very authentic. I really liked it. They
Yeah.
had me. You were exactly what you were just saying. They had me go and go and again and repetitive, like
Yep.
repeat.
Yep.
Like not what they wanted. It was unscripted. You know, it was like, hey, send this real message to your brother. You know, like a real. You know, and I would say the things that I would say to him if he was in front of me. And it's just like for that commercial, they just kept saying repeat it. I'm like, I mean, after a while, I'm kind of losing, my like, enthusiasm. But they're like, it's all right, it's all right. Look, restart it, breathe, and then I'm like, I mean, it's cool. I got a lot of money.
Yeah, that's acting for you, right? It's that's the part of the business, and being able to do it so many times, and being there, and being this flexible thing that the directors can mold into what they see, because they're behind the camera. They see whether it actually comes through properly, because we may think that it does, but they see whether it actually does.
Yep, yep.
And yeah, the trick to commercials. So for everybody who's watching who hasn't been able to do commercials yet, the trick to doing a commercial, especially the spokesperson shot, is to not treat yourself as a salesperson. You're not. You're just somebody who is talking to somebody you know, whether it's your brother, like in your case, or your neighbor, or somebody else. All you're doing is sharing information. And if you're excited about it, be excited. If you're concerned, be concerned. But the more real you can make it, the better the shot is going to be. And I learned that the hard way by taking classes, because I was theatrical and I wanted to do all sorts of things, and I wanted to be the proper salesperson. They're like, no, it's you're talking to your dad. Oh, okay, I get it. Thank you. So
Okay.
yeah,
Exactly, man.
I found that when I was looking, I looked at your demos, and that commercial stood out. I'm like, yep, he's talking to his brother. I see it. I see it right there.
Cool, cool.
Very
That's awesome.
cool. So what's your acting approach? I don't know what kind of training you've taken or who you've worked with. What do you see as your acting approach right now?
I mean, there's just so many different things. I kind of
Mhm.
take all the different, like every single different approach that I keep hearing from different coaches or directors, or this is, I kind of like combine it all into my own personal style. I mean, so there's nothing specific I would like actually like recommend. You know what I mean? I would just say listen to everything that everybody's saying, because there's so many different methods. So I
Mhm.
kind of just be myself. I kind of just, all right, it's simple. It's just read the character, read the bio, get into a character, and then add your own personal style to it.
Yeah. Thank you, because that's you actually said something that takes people many years to get to, which is it's simple. It's not meant to be complicated. We are overcomplicating things ourselves because we try to create all these backstories and get into every decision. No, just play, be somebody else for that moment, and do what comes natural in that moment.
Exactly, just act. It's acting.
Very cool. Yeah, keep it simple, please do. Yeah, it's otherwise it can take you off into a long path that'll take a
a,
while to come back from.
a long path, a lot of money, a lot of time, energy. Oh man, people will be spending years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and then once they come out of school, they start doing extra work. Come on, you don't have to do all that for extra work.
Right.
Uh,
So, do you have like an acting role model, somebody that you aspire to be like?
no, I don't aspire to be like anybody. It's I just aspire to be myself, like in 10 years. you know? Um, yeah, no, I look up to God. I mean, there's a lot of people I like, but
Mhm.
like a role model.
An actor that you think, yeah, I really like how they handled their career. This is somebody who I like the way that they act. I like who they are. I like their choices. It's somebody that I would like to emulate in a way.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, he's a legend.
It's good.
Denzel, I mean, all the greats, they're the most successful in the acting realm.
Yeah. But I'm really happy that I heard the answer. I was secretly hoping that your answer would be I'm not. I just want to be me, because that's really what you should be. You should
Mhm.
just be you. You can admire other people, you can learn from other people, but you aspire to be yourself, and that's it.
Yeah, because and let me add something on there. And I know that you guys have to ask those kind of questions. And everybody in life asks those questions. You know what I mean? Like, who do you look up to? If you
Mhm.
could be anybody in the world, who would you be? Like, why do you ask those questions? Because what you're doing is you're comparing, or you're making that person compare themselves to somebody who's not whose level is like up here and you're down here. So why would you do that? You got to compare yourself to somebody who's in your level. And if
Mhm.
you're doing better than that person, I mean, well, regardless, you shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. But I'm just saying, if you're going to compare yourself to somebody, don't compare yourself to somebody up here. Compare yourself to somebody who's at the same level as you. And if you're doing more, then you're winning. You know what I mean? So like I always recommend just, be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.
Yeah. To answer your question, and I like where you're going with it, and I agree with it. To answer your question of why media asks these types of questions, it's to learn more about you. It's not the answer itself, but we want to hear how you answer it because that tells us something about you. If people are asking me that question of who are my acting role models, it's a very difficult question. I can tell who I admire as an actor, who I admire as a person. So I would answer it in that way. I would say I love how Meryl only spends 4 or 5 months a year doing acting, and she's doing something else all the other time. That is a very valuable piece to me, and I want to aspire to do that as well. I like how, speaking of Meryl Streep, that she's very down to earth, that she can be an incredible actress and still just be a regular, beautiful human being and be herself. I aspire to do that. It's not, for me, it's not aspiring to, I want their career.
Yep, yep.
I want to, pick things from different people. So when we ask those questions,
you gotta kind of break down that question because it's very general and it's like I admire a lot of people. I admire, in acting, like you said, Leo, Denzel, in business, Grant Cardone or Robert Kiyosaki, all these people. I mean, I admire different people in different, mediums, but yeah, like you said, who do I want to be? No, I want to be myself in 10 years, I don't want to be like anybody. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
So who do you envision yourself to be in 10 years?
Ugh. If I've already done all these things in a year and a half and 10 years, I'm gonna be the president of the United States. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna be I'm already a millionaire. I'm already rich. I mean, not right now. I'm saying like, I'm already gonna be a millionaire, 10 years from now. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna have like, I don't know, 100 business entities under my name, probably another 100 real estate properties under my name, a bunch of Oscar, you know what I mean? Like all these accolades, all these different things I don't care about, but it's gonna happen because of everything that I'm gonna accomplish, in the next couple years. But I just want to keep being happy and keep progressing because progression is the key to happiness. So
I want to follow up on that, and not to be contrarian because I wish for you to accomplish all those things. But if in 10 years you don't have 100 entities and you don't have Oscar nominations, would you consider yourself a failure at that point?
I don't consider myself a failure today. So no, if I didn't get any of that, I wouldn't be a failure. I think I'm successful.
Good, because you were talking about happiness, and happiness. A lot of people define success by what they hold and how much they have accomplished. And success is different things to different people. Success for your mom was being a single mom, was working multiple jobs and providing for her family. That's a definition of success. It didn't matter how much money it was. It didn't matter what jobs or what title she held. It was something else. So keep in mind that being happy has really nothing to do with the external accomplishments or titles or business entities or Oscar nominations. It has something to do with.
But so like once you find ultimate fulfillment, within yourself, then the rest is kind of like it's just things to toy with. That's kind of why like I mentioned that because I'm already happy with myself. I'm already happy with who I am. I mean, I came out here alone. I've been alone for a while. Like I'm good with who I am. Like nobody's gonna change that. Like I can literally die tomorrow and I'm fine. I'm successful. Like I have achieved what I've achieved. And I don't mean like what we were just saying, like all these different trophies and Oscars and business entities and whatever. I'm just saying like I've already accomplished ultimate fulfillment. So now I can just play around. Ultimately life is a playground, and we've always known it. I mean, as kids, but somewhere along the lines we kind of forgot it. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, I'm just enjoying, playing on the swings now and gonna climb the monkey bars and all that. I mean, just wait, I'm gonna get up there.
Good, and that's great. It becomes difficult, or it seems difficult because people somewhere along the way tell us that it is. People along the way, we see people struggle, and we automatically start to kind of perceive that, oh, it's not as easy as we thought. And then some people, kind of get into that mode that it's going to be a struggle. Life is going to be difficult. So how you perceive life and what you choose to do is up to you. And I really appreciate how you're looking at it. Enjoy life. Enjoy, and all of these things are going to come to you just because you're enjoying it and you're sending out that type of energy to the universe.
And not take yourself seriously or life.
Right. Yeah, because we're all people, and the more I talk to people, the people that I have watched on these in on the screen, big screen or small screen, the more I see that they are as real as everybody else. They are as wonderful and as flawed as everybody else. And the more that they do not take themselves as seriously as everybody else seems to. They don't. They take their job seriously, and they take what they do with heart, but they don't take themselves seriously. So, yeah, that's in my opinion, that's what I'm kind of taking away from it as well.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, listen, Rico, it's been a pleasure. I wish you all of these things to come true and more, and all the surprises along the way. Thank you for coming on. I learned a lot about you. I hope our audience has learned as well and saw how they can achieve success, whatever they set their minds to be, and whatever their definition of success is. Thank you, Rico.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Share, comment, follow Rico on Instagram, and tell him what you think. Take care, everybody.
Bye.